I've been playing Flesh and Blood for a little over a year at this point, and I've definitely gotten better at the game over time. For those newer players out there, I see you, and here's a video highlighting a couple things I wish I knew when I first started playing Fab. To preface, this isn't really a learn to play video. If you're trying to learn the rules of the game in question, the professor from Talarian Community College made an excellent video on the topic that'll link below. Instead, we'll be discussing a couple tips that new players will definitely want to know about. So to start off, let's talk about breakpoints. In Flesh and Blood, a majority of cards that see play block for 3. So let's say your opponent swings at you with the card Yellow Wounding Blow, which has 3 power. If you don't want to take any damage, you can simply use one of your 3 block cards from hand to block it all. But if they instead swing with the red version of Wounding Blow, the card will have an extra attack point. Even though the card only has +1 power, if you don't want to take any damage, you will need to dedicate a second card to block. This is a breakpoint, or an attack that has a power value that is not easy to fully block using the 3 block cards most players have in their deck. 4 power attacks, 7 power attacks, and even 1 power attacks are all breakpoints, as they all are awkward numbers to fully block out. And breakpoints become a lot more interesting when played with on-hit effects. If a player swings at you with a red Wounding Blow, you may simply block with a single card and take the 1 damage from the breakpoint. But if instead they swing at you with the card Snatch, for instance, which allows its controller to draw a card if hit, then all of a sudden, if you let any damage hit you, then you're giving your opponent an extra card. Understanding these breakpoints and how they interact with on-hit triggers is important, and can help you identify powerful cards to put into your deck. It also relates to the next tip as well, and that's knowing when you should use your armor. A lot of equipment has block value attached to it, and I see a lot of new players equate this to extra health, using the equipment to block at the earliest and most convenient time. But you could get so much more out of your equipment. For instance, in the previous example, if your opponent attacks you with a red Snatch, you obviously don't want it to hit or they get to draw a card. The attack is on a breakpoint, so it's difficult to fully block, taking 2 3-block cards to fully stop. Instead though, if you have a piece of Iron Rot armor around, you can use a single 3-block card with the armor in order to fully block the attack instead. In this scenario, your armor isn't just an extra health point, but it's also denying your opponent a piece of card draw as well. Often enough, it helps to save your equipment for specific instances like this, where you can deny on-hit triggers and gain extra value out of your equipment. The final tip I want to bring up is in regards to the block value of cards. In the past 2 examples given, we made the assumption that the cards you block with will always block for 3, but there are a lot of cards with extra effects that instead block for 2. A good example of this dichotomy are the cards Wounding Blow and Snatch, but the question remains, which is better, the effect or the extra block value? And the answer to that is, it really depends. Red cards are often enough the most powerful in the deck, and are the cards you actively want to be playing. Because of this, I would say Red Snatch is definitely a lot more playable than Red Wounding Blow. And yes, Red Snatch sees a lot of play in competitive decks, so that does check out. However, the blue versions of Snatch and Wounding Blow are a different story. These cards are a lot less powerful, so you actually don't want to actively be playing them. Instead, you'll be pitching them for resources or blocking with them. Because of that, I would argue that Blue Wounding Blow is often better than Blue Snatch simply because of the higher block value. When considering any card in your deck, the block value of the card should always be in the conversation. If a card blocks for less than 3, you need to be able to identify whether you have a good reason to play that card specifically, or if a card that blocks for more would work better. But yeah, that's all the tips I've got for now. Hope they help you out on your Fab journey. If you got any other questions, feel free to ask down below, and I'll definitely try to help out. But anyways, good luck out there, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!